Alright, welcome back. This is Module 1 Video 2, and in this video we are gonna learn how to use STATA. The question is, why are we using STATA? And that would be a good question. The answer simply is because this is the statistical package I used when I was training myself. There are other statistical packages out there. I can cite SAS, SPSS, or even R, which is completely free. But for this video, it will be all about STATA because this is what I know best. For those of you who already know how STATA looks like, this screen is going to be familiar. For those of you who do not, I will start from the very beginning. First, we have the review window, which is right here. We then have the command window, the variables window, and the properties window. This here is the main window, which I would like to call the log window, and I'll explain to you why later on. Now, let's start from the beginning. The most important of these windows would be this log window right here. Why? This is because whatever STATA tells me is going to be written right here. It's going to use this window. And whatever I tell STATA is going to be also recorded here. So this is a bookkeeping window if you want. It will include all the communication between me and STATA, and as well between STATA and myself. Now, let's start by asking STATA to run a simple command. Let's say I would like to ask STATA to give me the mean of a variable. In this instance, this variable is age. So I'm going to type mean age. Now let's look at what happened. First, STATA will tell me, you just told me to analyze the mean of the variable called age, right here. And then STATA will tell me, well, this is an error. There are no variables that are defined because no NIS is open right now. So that actually would be a valid error. So as you see, whatever STATA tells me and whatever I tell STATA is going to be word for word reflected in this window. Now, in STATA, everything that is correct is usually in blue or in black. And everything that is an error or needs attention is in red, and this is why you find that no variables defined message is in red. Now, if you noticed, I used the command window to give STATA a command. So this command window here is simply my way to communicate with STATA. Now, STATA is going to tell me in this log or main window what's happening. And then if we look at the command window here, or the review actually window, under the command, we see that number 1, we have mean age. What is this? This is the first command that I gave STATA. It is stored in here. Now, why does STATA store command? Well, this is simply because it makes it easy for me to re-ask STATA to run the same command. How can I do that? I can just go and click on it. And if you can see here, the command window now has the same command, mean age. To make it even easier, STATA is telling me that this command here is wrong because it is in red. If I run it again, it's going to be wrong again. It's going to give me the same error message, and this is to prove it. Now we have two different commands. Actually, here they are the same commands because we run it twice, and twice it is wrong. It is in red. If I had the correct command, then it will appear here in black or in blue depending on the version, but typically it is in black. So again, command window, this is the window I use to ask STATA to perform commands. The log window, this is that keeps track of everything that's happening, me communicating with STATA, STATA communicating with me. And now we have the review window here that will store all the commands for us. This way we can simply click on them and then run them again. What's left here is the variables window. This variables window will only be active or will have anything in it once we open a database. When we do open it, these variables inside the database will appear here in this variables window. How about the properties window? As we will learn later, each variable has some properties. and those are displayed here. They can be useful, like the name or the label. And then you have less meaningful, if you want, for us, properties, including the type, the format, the value label, notes, etc., etc. All right, so now that we know the 5 windows that STATA uses in its interface, next what we would like to do is to go over some of these commands in here. The first one is going to be the open command, and that's easy. This opens files the same way that any other program will open a file. Here what I would like to do is to open the NIS file, and I can open it by just clicking on this icon and then look for where it is in my computer and then open it. Because it's going to take a few seconds to open it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through and show you the open database when the process is done. Alright, I'm back, and now we have the NIS database open, NIS 2017. How do I know? Well, if I look at the variables window here, now I have variables. These are the variables stored in NIS. So the first variable here is hospness, then year, the age, patient's age, died, whether the patient died or not, etc., etc. And then each time I click on a variable, then in the properties window here, we have more description for this variable. In this instance, the name of the variable is age. The label or the description is age in years at admission. Okay, so this is how I open NIS. Now I have NIS 2017 open. To confirm in the log window, because this is a command, then it is displayed here in the log window, and it gives me the name of the database that I opened. This is an aftermarket name. I called it NIS 2017 Mega, and I will explain to you why I chose this name later. Okay, great. So the next useful function is to actually save a database. Now, why do I save a database? This is because when I'm working on a research project, I will create new variables that were not present at the beginning of NIS. This is how we actually will be running projects. We will create variables and use them to generate numbers. So before we leave, we always have to remember to save this new database because it has our new variables that we will use in the future when we reanalyze the data. Again, the save here is like any other program. You just click on it, you choose a place in your computer or folder in your computer, and you can save that file. And this allows me really to introduce the first file type in STATA, and this would be the database file. This is the DTA file, .dta. This is a file that contains variables. It is a database. Great. Okay, so now that we know how to open and how to save a database, next it is time to introduce a new type of files. I told you that the first type will be the .dta type. Now we are going to learn about another type, which is the do file. You can open a do file by simply clicking on this icon here. This would be how a do file would look like. Now, what is a do file? A do file is actually a file that contains commands. It is the exact same thing as the command line here. However, it has one useful property, and that property is as follows. When you type a command in the command window here, you have to run it afterwards. You cannot type another command before running the first one that you have typed. Using the do file here, we can actually write multiple commands and then run them at the end. For example, I'm gonna use the same command that I used before, mean age. And then let's say here I'm gonna say also mean, well, total charge, which is written as TOTCHG. Now, if you noticed here, I have these two commands back to back, mean age followed by mean total charge. I did not have to run them. If I wrote them here, then I would have to say mean age. I'll have to run it. I have to wait. All right, here we go. And then what I would have to do is to type the other command, which is mean total charge. And then run it, wait for my STATA to process it, and then get the other result. Now, this is simple. These are two commands. But if I had, let's say, 50 or maybe 150 commands, and this is typically what a research project using NIS or other databases will have, then this means that I'll have to spend the whole day here typing away in front of my computer. The advantage of using the do file is that now what I can do is I can write all these commands back to back, and then I can just run them and leave and do something else. Then at the end of the day, or whenever I have time again, I can check back and look and see what the results I have. So this is very useful if we are using more than like 5 or 6 commands, which most of the time we actually will be using way more than 5 to 10 commands. This again is the second type of files that we're going to learn about. This is a do file. It is .do file. The first type was .dta, the database file. The DTA file will contain a database, and the do file will contain the commands. Same as before, I can save that do file. I can save it somewhere in a folder in the computer, and I can later on open it. Why do I save it? Simply because I'm gonna do this project, I'm gonna submit it for publication, and then I'm gonna hopefully hear back from reviewers, and they of course are gonna ask me to do some more analysis or change something in my analysis. If I have the do file saved, then all I need to do is just open it, add a few commands, run it, and I'll be done. I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Most importantly, and this is what I do very frequently, is once I have few commands that I use frequently, then I save them, and all I need to do later on is to just open the file, highlight them, and click that run or execute button. It depends on your computer. If you have a Mac or a Windows, it can be called do, run, or execute. So when I click it here, as you can see, we're going to have the same exact results compared to when we typed these commands one by one. All right, so this is our do file. Now let's say I'm done. Then what I can do is just go ahead and close it and then come back to the main window. Now before I close it, I just want to make sure that you understand that you have options here when it comes to running the commands. You can run one command, for example, out of the two by just simply highlighting it and clicking the execute file. If you don't highlight anything, then all the commands will be run starting from command number 1. And this will be important in the future when we talk about selectively running some commands. Some people will forget to highlight that command or this command, for example, and then STATA will start running all the commands from the very beginning again, which would be a major generator of errors. All right, great. So now we're done with do file. We don't want to save it, but hopefully you will save yours on your computer. The next icon we're going to learn about is the data editor. What is a data editor? This is the Excel, if you want, version of the database. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to see something that looks like Excel. This here would be the first variable, again, HOSP NIS. This will be the second variable, year, patient's age, admission month, whether the admission is a weekend or not, whether the patient died at discharge or not, etc. So these are the columns, the variables. Now here the rows are the individual patients. So this is patient 1 in the hospital number 10,003. Obviously this is NIS 2017, so the year will be 2017, the patient's age is 46, etc. If I scroll all the way down, I'm going to get to the last patient, which is patient almost 7,159,000. This is not very helpful. I mean, this is helpful for you when you're starting, because then you can check on your new variables. Usually when you add or create a variable, it should be at the very end here. There'll be a new column here, and it appears, and you can see it as 0 or 1 or whatever value you give it for the patients. I rarely use it now, but at the beginning, when I was still learning, that was a very useful visual, if you want, for me. Okay, I think the last thing we're going to learn would be how to use a log file. So this is the third type of files that we are going to introduce in this video. The first one was the .dta, which is the database file. The second file that we have used is the do file, and this file will store commands. This is where the commands for your projects are going to be stored. The third file type we're going to use here, or we're going to learn about, is the log file. And what is a log file? The log file is the repetition or the duplication of a window that is already present in front of us, which is this log window or the main window. I'll explain as we go. So, okay, log begin. So when I click begin, it's going to ask me where are you going to save that file. I'm going to call this file here, which is .smcl. This is a log file. I'm going to call it, let's say, Catalyst. And I'm going to hit save. And here the log will tell me that you have started a log file, and it's called Catalyst, and it is located in that area of your computer, in that folder of your computer. Now, why is this important? Why is this useful? And this is why it is. I have here 8 commands. So I have typed 8 commands, everything is great. I can go back and look at the results of those commands in here. Now, what if I have 500 commands or 150 commands or 200 commands, whatever it is? Well, you will still have a display of those results in the log window. However, after, let's say, command number 50, the capacity of that window will be overwhelmed. So the only way for STATA to show you the last command would be to delete the first one. So at the end of the day, when you come back after running the project or the do file, you will only see on the log window the last, let's say, 20 or 30 results, and you will lose the first 100 or the first 75 results. And obviously you don't want that. The solution to that is to use this log file that we just created. This will act exactly like the log window. I'm gonna run one command here, let's say mean age, to show you as an example. Okay, well, I got this result. Let's say this is all what I want. I just want one result. Typically I'll have hundreds, but for the sake of this example, I'm gonna end here. Then what I'll do is I'm just gonna go to File, Log, and Close. The log window will tell me here that I have closed this file. Now, in order to retrieve it, in order to open it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Log, and View. Here it is. I'm going to click it, open. It's going to give me this window that has all the commands stored for my project. If I had 500 commands, I'm going to get these 500 results right here, as opposed to this window here, where only the last 20 or 40 or 50 results will be available. All right, so I think these are the most useful procedures that have to be learned in STATA. Before I end this video, I would like you to learn one more thing, and this is the help. Why? As you are gonna see, large database analysis research is a lot of self-learning and adding information as you need them. So you will have in the future questions that you will have to find answers for. And the first, or if you want the simplest way to do it, quickest way to do it, is to go to the help file. The way to do that is to go to help, STATA command, and then you can type the command here. Some friend would have told you about this command, or in the Catalyst forum you would have learned about this command, or you had read about it. You can type it here, and then STATA will give you all the information that you need to know, including examples about how to run this command. Let me show you here an example. Let's say this is a very useful command we will learn later. It's called Charlson. And this is an add-on command. It doesn't exist when you buy STATA. You have to download it afterwards. We will learn in the future how to do that. But let's say I want to know how to run it. So I'll type Charlson. I'll get this information here. Most importantly, I will get these examples here that tell me how I can actually code for it or how I can run it. All right, that's it. This is all what I want you to know about STATA right now. Of course, there is always something to learn about STATA. We will do that as we go, and hopefully you will do that as you go in your research. For right now, thank you for your attention and for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.